Imagine waking up to news that a massive alliance of nations has surrounded Israel. Military forces stretch farther than the eye can see. Satellites capture endless columns of tanks, aircraft, and soldiers moving toward one tiny nation. World leaders are powerless to stop what seems like the beginning of World War III. Then, without warning, the earth begins to shake. Mountains collapse. Weapons become useless. Panic spreads through the invading armies as they begin turning on each other. No nuclear strike. No human army. No military genius. Just one terrifying display of divine power. Could this be the mysterious war described thousands of years ago by the prophet Ezekiel? Who exactly are Gog and Magog? Are they ancient kings, modern nations, or symbols of a future rebellion yet to come? And why does the Bible mention Gog and Magog not once, but twice? Stay with us, because by the end of this video, you will understand one of the greatest mysteries in biblical prophecy and why many believe its shadow is already falling across our world. A prophecy written 2,600 years ago. Around 2,600 years ago, while living in exile in Babylon, the prophet Ezekiel received a shocking vision from God. Israel was broken. Jerusalem had fallen. The temple had been destroyed. The people wondered if God had abandoned them forever. But instead of giving a message of despair, God revealed something far beyond their imagination, a prophecy concerning events that would happen in the latter years. In Ezekiel chapters 38 and 39, God speaks directly to someone called Gog from the land of Magog. The prophecy begins with these chilling words: "Son of man, set your face against Gog of the land of Magog." Immediately, questions arise. Who is Gog? What is Magog? And why are they so important? WHO is Gog? Many people think Gog is the name of a nation. But Scripture presents Gog as a leader, a powerful ruler, someone who commands a vast military coalition. He isn't acting alone. He gathers many nations under one banner with one purpose: to invade Israel. The Bible describes this army as so enormous that it covers the land like a storm cloud. Imagine millions of soldiers advancing together. The ground shakes beneath their feet. The sky darkens with aircraft. Ships fill the seas. The invasion appears unstoppable. Yet something unusual stands out. God says he himself will draw Gog into battle, almost as if Gog believes he is following his own plans, when, in reality, he is walking directly into God's judgment. What is Magog? The identity of Magog has fascinated scholars for centuries. Some believe Magog refers to peoples who lived north of Israel. Others connect Magog with ancient tribes that later spread across Eurasia. Throughout history, different generations have tried to identify Magog with powerful empires of their own time. Some pointed to the Scythians. Others believed it referred to Russia. Still others argue the prophecy should not be tied to any single modern nation. The truth is, the Bible never tells us to obsess over matching every ancient name to a modern country. Instead, the focus remains on something much bigger: a massive alliance united in rebellion against God's people. The exact political map may change, but the spiritual message remains the same: the invasion of Israel. Ezekiel describes Israel as living securely. Then suddenly, without warning, the coalition attacks. Their goal is simple: to plunder, to destroy, to erase Israel from existence. Humanly speaking, Israel has no chance. The enemy is too large, too powerful, too organized. But that's exactly the point. Throughout the Bible, God often waits until victory seems impossible before revealing his power. This battle will be no different. God steps into the battle. Then comes one of the most dramatic moments in all of prophecy. God declares, "My fury will show in my face." Instantly, a great earthquake shakes the land. Mountains crumble. Cliffs collapse. Walls fall. Confusion erupts among the invading armies. Soldiers begin attacking each other. Imagine thousands of troops suddenly unable to tell friend from foe. Panic spreads like wildfire. The invasion collapses from within. Then comes rain. Not ordinary rain. Torrents. Hailstones. Fire. burning sulfur. Nature itself becomes a weapon. It is a reminder that the Creator controls every force in the universe. This is not merely a military victory. It is a declaration to every nation that the God of Israel is still sovereign over history. Why does God allow the invasion? This is perhaps the most important question. If God knows the attack is coming, why allow it? The answer appears repeatedly throughout Ezekiel, so that the nations will know that I am the Lord. The battle is not ultimately about politics, or territory, or military power. It is about God's glory. Human pride reaches its highest point. Then God reminds the world who truly rules creation. Gog and Magog in Revelation. Just when you think the mystery is solved, the names appear again, hundreds of years later, in the book of Revelation. But something is different. After Christ's 1,000-year reign, Satan is released for a short time. He gathers the nations of the earth, called Gog and Magog, for one final rebellion. This has led to centuries of debate. Are these the same Gog and Magog from Ezekiel? Or is John using the names symbolically to represent the final worldwide rebellion against God? Faithful Bible scholars hold different views. Some believe Ezekiel and Revelation describe two separate events. Others believe Revelation uses the names as symbols of humanity's last great rebellion. Whichever view one holds, the message remains remarkably consistent. Human rebellion against God ultimately ends the same way. No Russia, no United States, no United Kingdom. The names we recognize today did not yet exist. Instead, the world was divided into kingdoms, tribes, and ancient peoples whose names have almost disappeared from history. One of those names was Magog. According to the Bible, Magog was one of the grandsons of Noah through Japheth. After the flood, Noah's descendants spread across the earth. Genesis chapter 10 records what many scholars call the Table of Nations. It lists the families from whom countless civilizations would eventually emerge. Among them, Magog. But Genesis tells us almost nothing else. No cities, no vatas, no kingdom, just a name. Yet centuries later, that same name suddenly reappears in Ezekiel's prophecy. This time, connected to a terrifying invasion unlike anything Israel has ever faced. So, where was Magog? Ancient historians offer clues. One of the most influential was Josephus, a first-century Jewish historian. He wrote that Magog's descendants became the Scythians. The Scythians were fierce horse-mounted warriors who lived north of the Black Sea. They were famous throughout the ancient world. Nomadic, fearless, masters of horseback warfare. To people living in Ezekiel's day, the north represented danger. Again and again throughout Scripture, enemies of Israel arrived from the north. Whether Assyria, Babylon, or later empires, the threat almost always came from that direction. This is one reason many students of prophecy pay close attention when Ezekiel repeatedly says God will come from the far north. But does far north automatically mean modern Russia? Not necessarily. The Bible never uses the word Russia. That connection comes from later interpretations, not from the biblical text itself. Some prophecy teachers argue that geographical clues fit parts of modern Russia. Only the unmistakable power of the Creator. Gog and Magog appear again. Yet the mystery doesn't end with Ezekiel. Hundreds of years later, the names Gog and Magog appear once more in the book of Revelation. After Christ's 1,000-year reign, Satan gathers the nations for one final rebellion against God. John calls them Gog and Magog. Does this describe the same battle Ezekiel saw? Faithful Bible scholars hold different views. Some believe Ezekiel and Revelation describe two separate events. Others believe Revelation uses the names symbolically to represent the final worldwide rebellion against God. Whatever interpretation one accepts, the message remains remarkably clear. Every rebellion against God has the same ending. God wins. What this means for us today. Every generation has wondered, could this prophecy happen in our lifetime? Wars continue. Nations form new alliances. Conflicts in the Middle East capture the world's attention. It's natural to ask questions. But Jesus reminded his followers not to live in fear or endless speculation. Instead, he called them to remain faithful, watchful, and ready. Biblical prophecy was never given simply to satisfy curiosity. It was given to strengthen our faith, to remind us that history is not spinning out of control. Even when the world seems uncertain, God remains on his throne. He sees the end from the beginning, and nothing can stop his purposes. Final conclusion. Perhaps the greatest mystery of Gog and Magog isn't discovering exactly who Gog is. Perhaps the greater mystery is realizing who God is, the King above every king, the Lord above every nation, the one who holds history in his hands. As kingdoms rise and kingdoms fall, his word remains unshaken. The next time you hear headlines about wars, rumors of wars, or growing tension among the nations, remember this. The Bible's message is not one of fear. It is a message of hope. Because no matter what happens in the future, the final victory belongs to God. If you enjoyed this journey into one of Scripture's greatest mysteries, don't forget to subscribe to Kingdom Mysteries, where we uncover the hidden truths of the Bible, one mystery at a time.